Good morning. Good morning. This is what happens when you have a conversation just before it goes, cheese. You end up doing this. Welcome to the podcast, The Millionaire of the Diamonds. This, my friends, is not just a podcast. This is a movement. And let me tell you, thank God I'm in this movement. Because sometimes, Marie-Pierre, I ask myself, what kind of individual would I be? Because I'm so, in French, we use the word intransigeante. I am so uh, difficult. And I know it's not the word really.
Mm.
And working on myself enables me to better understand other people, better work with other people. Go check some of those stories with the coachings and the meet and greets, and you'll see. But that's all thanks to this podcast, The Millionaire of the Diamonds, that's been going on now for how long, Marie? About 5 years? About?
More, six.
Oh my gosh, six guys. Where has the time gone? Okay. So this is not fluff. This is not theory without application. These are real tools that when we read, we superimpose it into real life, because any of these books read on my own would never give me the results it's giving me today, and that's what I'm hoping it's going to do for you. So today you're going to hear from three different voices. Mine, to start off with, you will receive the ignition. Anyways, okay. The emotional conviction, the belief that faith is not mystical, it's not religious, but actually trainable. And Dr. Melanie Miller, all the way from Australia, drum roll, brum, she's going to give you the academic depth, the science, the psychology, the environmental proof that every statement we are covering today, she is going to show you the evidence that it works. And then Marie-Pierre Tetro, drum roll, brum, she'll go, here's the mirror. Who are you? I love your segment. So before we go anywhere further, let's go with Marie-Pierre Tetro. Is today I know the top 10?
Yes, we have
Okay,
Thursday
Marie-Pierre
today.
Tetro. Hang on, let me say hi to my gang, okay?
Okay.
Good morning, Louise. Good morning, Martin. Good morning, Olga. Olga, you didn't send me your pictures so I can share my story. Sherry Novak, what a coaching yesterday, Sherry. Okay, we got to bring Jennifer to that director title. She deserves to make money. James, you didn't give me the picture. Where's the picture? Where's the picture? And he's there with the crew, Monique, Kendra, Soul.
Quoi?
Kendra, see.
Can reste finger soul?
Oh, okay, went on two lines. So I said maybe somebody else. I said somebody new. Oh, Maria. Okay, Carolyn is in the house. Good morning. All right, so let's begin. Where's Jacqueline? Martin, find Jacqueline. Martin, find Matthew. Okay, who's missing? Okay, bye-bye. Go.
Okay. Start first with the sharing the podcast. So you have the text in the comment that you can copy paste when you share on every social media platform, but you will see again when you click on that arrow to share everywhere, you can send it by messenger, by text message. When you have someone in mind, that's the best way to make sure that they will listen to the podcast is when you send it directly so they don't have a choice and click on the link. Then we have our contest, Millionnaires des Diamants. So first when you go on our Facebook group called Les Millionnaires des Diamants Inspirational Group, every time you post, every time you react, every time you put a comment, you gain points during the month to be in the top 10 contributor. And at the end of the month, the official top 10 will get a voucher to go shop on the boutique Les Millionnaires des Diamants. And our top 10 month to date, so you still have until the end of the month, but month to date, we have number 10, Caroline Doroviche. Number 9, Mélanie Cocolas. Number 8, Des Images et des Mots. Number 7,
Who?
Monique Stratton.
Who?
It's a page called Des Images et des Mots.
It's new.
No.
Oh.
Number 7, Monique Stratter. Number 6, Nathalie Brochu.
Wait,
Number
Monique
5,
is first time in top 10. Oh. Hey, I'm ready with the program today.
Number 6, Nathalie Brochu. Number 5, Sherry Novak. Number 4, Lise Boucher. Number 3, Kendra Sipingasol. Number 2, Louise Gauthier. And number 1, Martha Noel. So congratulations to our top 10 month to date. Again, you still have until the end of the month to be in the official top 10. And then we have a draw at the end of each month. To be in the draw, there's two ways. First, with the boutique Millionnaires. So when you place your order, when you receive your order, always take a picture and post on social media and tag Marie Merino and the Millionnaires to be in the draw. And the second way, same thing, but with the book to Leonardo Gemma. So you just receive one of the book, you take your picture, or you're reading one of the books, you take a picture. You're doing one of the quiz book, you take a
I,
picture. Yeah.
I got the picture. I got the
with,
picture.
with the book.
Isn't it gorgeous? Okay, continue. Don't make me distract.
Okay, and you use your agenda, you take a picture. You can have a new picture every day that you can post on social media and always tag him, and the Leonardo Gemma to be in the draw.
He took the picture from La Costiera Amalfitana from Italy. The dress you
Ooh.
made me buy. Oh, okay, focus, Marie-Pierre.
Okay, and last thing, if you don't already have your ticket for the next conference, click on the link to get your ticket, and don't just get your ticket for one conference, but get for the 3 next. So you commit to yourself that you will grow personally, intentionally this year, because you decide that you will be there for the next conferences. Limia and I had des diamants. Voilà.
That's it?
Oui, oui.
Okay, give me a second. I have to share the right picture to Melissa. Okay, that's really good. Multitasking. I'm like an octopus. Okay, let's dive in. Oh, I love my life. I love my life. Okay, let me begin with something very, very simple. Faith is not religious. Faith is not religious. I don't want to lose anybody out there that's saying, oh, keep quiet. I would say, shut up and listen, okay? Faith is not religious. Faith is a mental condition. Faith is a state of mind. And if it is a state of mind, therefore I can train it. So if you're leaning in and you're taking a couple of notes, faith is a state of mind. It can be induced. That's what I would write here right now. It can be strengthened and it can be lost. And let me tell you guys, let me be very, very clear. If I wasn't in this incredible business called Tupperware the Diamonds that focuses uniquely on human personal development, build the people and the people will build the business. We are a personal development program with a paycheck. I would not be the woman I am today. I am obliged every single week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, in the coachings, the training, always to develop the other human being. Guess who takes advantage of all that training the most? Me. Okay. So be in a leadership position, and that starts with you being a mom and dad, or dad. So that starts by you being a sister or a brother. That starts by you being a neighbor. Like there's many, many opportunities. We are all leaders at a level or a different level, certain level. Anyways, whatever. Okay. So tomorrow morning, you're going to wake up using faith. This is where I want to bring you today with this podcast, either for success or for failure. So James got up this morning after yesterday's coaching. Something magical is going to happen. He's going to have faith that he's going to go on that cruise, and Sheila is going to go in that cruise, and that cleaning crew, lady or man, is going to be there. That's going to be, you see, this is faith. It's articulating exactly what you want and believing in yourself enough that that is your destiny. My mind if it's dominated by positive emotion, becomes the home of this faith. And a mind dominated by fear becomes the doubt of this faith. Yeah, but the cruise, it's 4,800 a month. What if I don't do it for a month? Like you're already foreseeing what could go wrong. And of course, guess what? You're right, because if you induce doubt, then that's exactly what's going to happen. You already are using this principle. The only question is in which direction. Throughout the ages, people have said, have faith, but very few have explained how to have faith. And this is what we're going to dive in today. So again, take notes. Faith is not waiting. Faith is not wishing. Faith is repetition. Take that note. Faith is repetition. The journaling. I repeat every day. What is my visionary goal for the next 3 years? Faith is repetition. We've got it at the Millionaire of the Diamonds, the journaling. Faith is emotionalized belief. Oh my God, my sales pitch. We have it. Okay, there we go. Faith is deciding that your thought will dominate your reality. We have it in that journaling, and the journaling is free. Marie-Pierre put it somewhere so they can download it, do photocopies, and every 60 days, start over. You are either the master of your mind or its servant. There is no middle ground. Somebody already told me, Maria, in business, there's no such thing as I'm taking a break. I'm going to plateau at where I am at. I'm happy with these results. They answered me, no, that cannot happen. You're either growing or failing in business. There's no middle ground. And with faith, it's the same thing. There's no middle ground. So let me make this very practical. When I was 16, you guys all know that I had this burning desire to accumulate my first $1,000 for the Canadian savings bond. Okay, I didn't have the money. I didn't come from wealth. Remember, my parents immigrated here, but I had the belief. I calculated how many hours I had to babysit to get there. It has to be a mathematical equation. So the cruise, $4,800 a month, $4,800 a month divided by 28 days, 30 days, 31 days. Great. This is my goal per day today. Then the recruiting. We know it takes 10 recruits to have one activated. So if I need 5 activated recruits, I'm going to need 50 recruits every single month. So it's a mathematical equation. So how much per week, how many months? And I repeat it to myself. I will reach my $1,000. And I believed it before I saw it. That is called faith. Okay. Faith is believing before the evidence appears. There's a beautiful saying from Martin Luther King. He says, just take the first step. You don't need to see the whole staircase. So when I started building my business, very few people believed someone could create wealth in this industry. I mean, I still get looked at like this. Huh? You sell Tupperware? Do you do anything else? And they're looking at me from head to toe. I don't know why, but I call it, they give me the look. Okay. No, so I didn't care what they thought or what they believed. I knew I was going to make it. Not because I was special, but because I trained my mind to believe in possibilities before the results showed up. I had been doing that long before I was 18 and started my business. Faith is the starting point of all accumulation of riches. You want to write something down? Faith is the starting point of all accumulation of riches. Nothing begins without belief. You will not act consistently towards something you do not believe in. There you go. That's another sentence I would write down. Okay. You will not act consistently towards something you do not believe is possible. Oh, now that explains, Marie-Pierre, all the people that start something and out the window that new habit, right? You miss one day, it's okay. Miss 2 days, you're starting a new habit. Faith is, here's another word I want you to write down, another sentence. Faith is the antidote to failure. Now, why? Because when you fail, what disappears first is belief. You don't stop because you can't. You stop because you no longer believe. I'm still in this business because deep in my heart, I believe we can own this brand for Canada, convert it into the #1 kitchen brand that helps Canadians and hopefully around the world save time, money, and eat healthier because they've got the right tools. I mean, it's such a huge belief in me. Faith restores action. Faith restores movement. Faith restores persistence. Faith is the chemical that gives power to our thoughts. Write it down. Faith is the chemical that gives power to our thoughts. Thought alone is weak. Emotion gives it force. Like I prepared the podcast, I told Sylvain, and now I'm saying it to you. It's getting so much force. Oh my God, guys, watch out! Those that have coaching and what is it? Meet and greets today. When thought is mixed with belief, excitement, certainty, it becomes magnetic. I attract to me all the wonderful things. So this is what I want to close off with, and maybe re-listen to it. But these are 6 things you have to write down. Faith is the starting point of all accumulation. Faith is the basis of all miracles. This is straight from the book. And mysteries that science cannot explain. Faith is the only known antidote to failure. Faith is the element that gives life, power, and actions to my thoughts. Faith transforms the ordinary into extraordinary physical equivalent. Faith is the agency through which infinite intelligence, Edison, the light bulb, like Ford, the car, like all of this is because they believed in themselves and then they had the aha moment. It says faith is the agency through which infinite intelligence can be harnessed and used by man. Read this over and over and over and over again every single day. Those are your affirmations, James. Those are your affirmations from now on, and watch 2026 explode for you and everything that your heart's desires that is good for you. Now we're going to go see Dr. Melanie Miller because I'm more of the woohoo. But Melanie Miller, all the way from Australia, is going to scientifically break it down. Over to you, Melanie.
Good morning, everybody. As we continue in this chapter on faith in Think and Grow Rich, we now arrive at a powerful section, the disaster of negative thinking and the genius that lies asleep within your brain. My role today is to take what Hill describes philosophically and show you that there is real science behind why these ideas work. We often hear expressions like, you are what you think, or I'm my own worst enemy. And interestingly, modern neuroscience shows us that both of these statements are profoundly true. Today, I was listening to a podcast from my daughter Susie and her husband Brandon, who run a CrossFit gym and coach people on nutrition, mindset, and physical performance. And it struck me how similar their messages are to what we teach at Tupperware, and honestly, what you'll hear in almost any serious personal development environment. They talked about what happens when someone slips. Maybe they fall off their healthy eating plan. Maybe they don't lift the weight they lifted last week. Maybe they don't hit the speed they were hoping for. The key message they gave? Learn from it. And do not begin the negative self-talk. Not, I'm hopeless. I'll never get there. Why can everyone else do it but for me? Because that kind of thinking becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You say you can't. The next time you struggle, you say, see, that's proof. I knew I couldn't. Just like us in Tupperware, Susie and Brandon dislike the word can't. And we've talked about this before in previous podcasts. But today I want to go a little deeper into the science of why this happens. When you tell yourself, I cannot do this, you are not simply expressing emotion. You are triggering a neurological cascade that changes how your brain functions. The brain shifts from creative problem solving into what psychologists call a threat or fixed mindset mode. Here's what happens biologically. First, the amygdala becomes hyperactive. The amygdala is responsible for fear and stress responses. When you say, I can't, the brain interprets this as danger and activates the fight or flight system. Second, your body releases cortisol and adrenaline. These stress hormones are useful in emergencies, but they suppress the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain responsible for reasoning, planning, strategy, and innovation. So ironically, the moment you most need creative thinking, your brain shuts down the very system that produces it. Third, cognitive flexibility decreases. When the prefrontal cortex less active, with the prefrontal cortex less active, the brain enters almost a rest mode with regard to solving the problem. You stop looking for options. Fourth, another area called the lateral habenula activates. This region is associated with error processing and behavioral inhibition. In simple terms, it reduces motivation. It makes you less likely to try again. And finally, through neuroplasticity, repeated negative self-talk strengthens neural pathways of doubt. The more you say, I can't, the more automatic that belief becomes. This is how negative thinking becomes a habit, not just emotionally, but neurologically. Now, here's the interesting part. When you change the question from, I can't do this, to, how can I do this? Or what if I could do this? The process reverses. The limbic stress response begins to calm. The prefrontal cortex reactivates. Creative, solution-oriented thinking returns. So your thoughts truly do influence your outcomes, not in a mystical way, but in a measurable biological way. And this is where Hill's idea becomes so powerful. He says there is a genius, a giant asleep within your brain. Science tells us that human beings possess enormous untapped potential through learning, adaptation, and neuroplasticity. But that giant does not wake through fear, shame, or self-criticism. It awakens through belief, curiosity, and courageous thinking. Hill also mentions that behind many great individuals, there is often a loving supporter. And I truly believe that love is one of the most powerful forces we have when facing the world. Love expands thinking. Love reduces fear responses. Love strengthens resilience. It is not weakness. It is a powerful psychological resource. So how do we allow that giant within us to emerge? Not through perfection, not through never failing, but through a step-by-step process, refusing to adopt a victim mindset, refusing to tell ourselves that we are unworthy, choosing daily affirmations that direct our thinking toward growth. Because faith, as Hill describes, is not blind belief. It is trained belief, and trained belief changes behavior. So now I'm going to leave you in the hands of Marie-Pierre. She is going to help us look more closely at how we are thinking and perhaps where our own thoughts may be limiting the genius that already exists within us. Thank you, Marie-Pierre.
Thank you, Melanie. So yes, we go into the quiz of this morning because we need to know, is it you dominate your mind or is it your mind that dominates you? So let's start this quiz because you realize that with what Maria and Melanie talk about, that your life is not guided by what happens to you, but your life is guided by what your mind tells you about what happened to you. So over time, those repeated thoughts become your belief, that faith, and that will become your decision, and then your decision become your action, and your action become your result. So it's why people can experience in the exact same situation, but one will grow stronger and the other one may give up. So in the following situation I will give you during the quiz, you need to really make sure that you choose honestly the thought that most closely match your first and natural reaction. So you don't want to choose the answer that you wish you had, but you want to choose the answer that feels familiar in your head. So you are not being judged, but you are discovering the conditioning that you already have in your subconscious. So for each situation, you can answer A or B. So let's start with situation number 1. So you send an important message and the person doesn't reply for hours. So do you A, you think I shouldn't have sent that, I probably sounded stupid? Or B, people are busy, my message was valid. Situation number 2. You experience a setback. So what is it in your head? So A, this always happened to me. Or B, this is the feedback. Situation number 3. You want to start something new. So in your head, is it A, what if I fail? Or B, what if it works? Situation number 4. When you think about a big dream that you want, what happened in your head? So A, people like me don't really achieve that. Or B, someone like me must start somewhere. And situation number 5, after a failure that you consider quitting. So what happened in your head? A, this is a sign to stop. Or B, this is a test of commitment. So did you get mostly A's or mostly B's? So if you have mostly A, your mind is currently operating in self-protective mode. So that does not mean that you lack ability, discipline, or intelligence. It means that your brain has learned to anticipate disappointment in order to avoid the emotional pain after. So your subconscious is trying to keep you safe from embarrassment or from criticism or from failure, from uncertainty. So it interprets event negatively before evidence even exists. So the good news is that it's something that we can change because the pattern was learned in the past, so it can be unlearned. So your brain has learned the habit that you need to protect first, and then let's believe later. So you don't need to have that new personality, you just need a new repetition. And if you have mostly B, your mind is developing a constructive belief pattern. So you are not ignoring difficulty, you are interpreting difficulty differently. So instead of asking why is that this happening to me, your mind asks what can I do with this. So your faith is oriented thinking that doesn't make your life easier, but it makes you remain engaged long enough for improvement to occur. So you are not succeeding because everything goes well. You're succeeding because you do not mentally exit when things go imperfectly. So your subconscious has begun to learn that different habit that you interpret first and react second. So you want to continue to strengthen this habit with those conscious repetition. So 3 practical habits to train your mind. Number 1, stop predicting failure before starting. So before a phone call or a post or a meeting, a presentation, notice if your mind say, oh, this won't work, or they won't answer, or no one will come. So when you catch it, you don't want to argue with it, but you want to replace it with a neutral constructive sentence. So I don't know the result yet. My job is to act. So you are training your brain to separate the action from the fear. And action number 2, use the not yet instead of I can't. So each time you think, oh, I can't do this, or I'm bad at this, I don't understand, use the word not yet. So I don't understand this yet. So always yet. So you keep your brain in learning mode instead of the shutdown mode. And number 3, you want to use your voice on purpose. So once per day, one constructive sentence out loud, not just mentally, but say it out loud. So example, I finished what I started. I'm learning. I handle problem calmly. So hearing your own voice will reinforce that belief, that faith, and it's more than that silent thinking. So say it out loud, use your voice. So your thoughts are not just that reaction, they are like instructions. So every day your mind asks, okay, who are you today? And every thought that you repeat will answer your mind. So you do not change your life by waiting for confidence, but you build that confidence and by training those sentences that you allow in to live inside of your head. So again, do you dominate your mind or is it your mind that dominates you? Is the question that you want to ask. So on that, I wish you a beautiful day and we'll see you